Magical Thinking Barbie. Yesterday we had a huge cold front go through, and it was super windy and cold, and now it's just really quiet, and it's so weird what a difference a day makes. I was thinking about the other day of like our weather being like a person's personality or something. Like one day's great and the next day it's complete trauma. And it seems as though our personalities are kind of mirroring what's going on in our environment, and it's really hard to find like a middle ground, to find a healthy state in all this trauma that we're going through as people on the earth. But it is something that you constantly have to try and find. And I for myself, like, I'm really struggling with that. I go through good days and bad days, and that's kind of all you can do these days, is kind of work through it and be happy about the good days and the calmness, and work through power outages and typhoons and buildings collapsing, and it's just, we're going through so much. And honestly, I would just like to go out and say to humanity, we're actually doing quite awesome. There are some people really keeping their heads together. Hopefully we will not be in World War III anytime soon. I am amazed that they're keeping themselves together. They're like, okay, we're not going to be shaken. We're going to try and, be calm about this. And I do give props to humanity for trying, even though it is so difficult. I mean, we are going through a lot, human race. And we really should sometimes just give each other a pat on the back and like, wow, we made it through this. It's going to get worse, but so far we're keeping our heads above the water, and I like to go throughout my days trying to think in those terms, give someone a pat on the back, symbolically or whatever, just because it is so difficult what we are going through. And I know that there's a lot of activism going on, and that's really, really good. And then, I'd also like to see some people just be like, hey, you know what? It's just not important. That's another way of activism, to be like, hey, it's just not important. What's important is that we keep our heads above the water, and, we work together to try and survive as long as we can. So this video is just about giving props to the human race. Like, there's so many of us. There's almost 8 billion people on the earth, and we're going through it, man. We are going through it. But if we can just, just give each other that pat on the back, like, hey, it's tough, but if you need to talk, if you need to vent, that's cool too. Or I see you venting, and that's fine. It's rough. I think that is one way forward. I know that, there's a lot of things that have not been dealt with. And I understand that too. Like, I totally understand the rage too. I totally get it. And, I just feel like if we want to be the evolved people, we need to find a new way of reestablishing ourselves as a human race on the earth.